Welcome to Spelling Bee Ninja, where we make learning fun and engaging. If you're curious about the world of math and eager to explore how angles shape our lives, you're in the right place. Join us on this journey as we uncover the mysteries of geometry and angles. Make sure to subscribe for free educational content that empowers young minds like yours, and become part of our learning community. Let's dive in. Today, we're talking about angles and their role in describing turns, shapes, and structures. An angle is formed when two rays or line segments share a common endpoint, called the vertex. This amount of turn between the two rays tells us how much one line has rotated relative to another, and it's expressed in degrees. Angles are vital to geometry and appear in nearly every shape and structure we see around us, from the corners of buildings to the design of furniture. Did you know the word angle comes from the Latin word angulus, meaning corner? Understanding angles allows us to appreciate the world's structures better. Now, let's talk about how angles are measured. We commonly use degrees, where one full circle contains 360 degrees. This fascinating system traces back to the ancient Babylonians who counted based on a sexagesimal system. Measuring angles can be done with a tool called a protractor. Interestingly, the concept of 360 degrees comes from the observation that there are about 360 days in a year, a bridge between astronomy and geometry. Moving on, let's classify different types of angles by their size. An acute angle measures less than 90 degrees, a right angle exactly 90 degrees, an obtuse angle is between 90 and 180 degrees, a straight angle is exactly 180 degrees, and a reflex angle measures between 180 and 360 degrees. Each type of angle plays its specific role in geometry and construction, and it's crucial for you to know these classifications. Did you know that right angles are prevalent in architecture because they provide stability? Think about a square or rectangle, they rely heavily on right angles for their structure. Next, let's focus on the importance of right angles in geometry. A right angle not only measures 90 degrees, but it's also indicated by a small square at the vertex. These angles are fundamental because they help us form rectangles and squares, which are essential shapes in both art and construction. Carpenters utilize tools like the framing square to ensure they're constructing right angles for strength and stability. Fun fact, ancient Egyptians devised a knotted rope system to create perfect right angles when constructing the pyramids. Now, let's delve into complementary and supplementary angles. Complementary angles add up to 90 degrees, while supplementary angles equal 180 degrees. Understanding these relationships helps us solve many geometric problems. For instance, if you have a 30-degree angle, its complement would be a 60-degree angle. The name complementary comes from the Latin complementum, meaning that which fills up. It's simply amazing how language entwines with mathematics. Now, let's discuss vertical angles. These angles are positioned opposite each other when two lines intersect, and they are always equal to each other. For example, if two lines intersect and create angles of 120 degrees and 60 degrees, the vertical angles will be the two 120-degree angles and the two 60-degree angles. This property is particularly useful in geometry, allowing us to find unknown angles based on their relationships with each other. Did you know this concept is one of the first geometric proofs learned by students? Now we'll see how angles help us define shapes in geometry. For instance, a triangle always has three angles that sum up to 180 degrees, while a rectangle has four right angles. Knowing how to calculate and utilize these angles is crucial for classifying shapes and understanding their properties. Here's a cool formula: you can determine the sum of the interior angles of any polygon using n-2 times 180 degrees, where n is the number of sides. Isn't that fascinating? Let's shift our focus to adjacent angles, which are angles that share a common vertex and side but do not overlap. They are like neighbors in geometry, and they help us understand angles better. For example, two adjacent angles might form a straight line, making them supplementary. The term adjacent derives from the Latin word adjacere, which means to lie near. Geometry is all about these relationships. Now, let's talk about the role of angles in real-world design. Architects use angles to create not only beautiful but also stable structures. Bridges and trusses harness triangular angles for resilience, while angles in art create depth and perspective. Whether it's ergonomic furniture design or stadiums that offer optimal viewing angles, angles are fundamental to creating functional and aesthetically appealing environments. Nature, too, is rich with angles, as seen in honeycomb patterns and the branching of trees. Did you know that the pitch of a roof is crucially determined by angles? Steeper roofs are better for shedding snow, whereas flatter roofs work well in dry climates. Lastly, we'll explore how angles are vital in navigation and astronomy. Angles help us determine positions and directions on land and sea. Sailors, for instance, use angles measured by a sextant to find their latitude, measuring the angle between the horizon and celestial bodies. In astronomy, angles help in calculating distances between stars and planets. Even GPS systems rely on the angles between satellites to pinpoint locations on Earth. An interesting fact is that ancient Polynesians relied solely on the angles of stars, waves, and even bird flight paths when navigating the vast Pacific Ocean without any modern instruments. As we wrap up today's deep dive into angles, let's reflect on how angles and geometry shape our world, from buildings to navigation in nature. We've covered the definition of angles, how they are measured, the different types of angles, and their applications in the real world. Remember, understanding angles isn't just about learning shapes, it's about seeing the connections between geometry and the structures, designs, and navigations that surround us every day. Keep exploring mathematics, and don't hesitate to take the time to notice the angles in your environment. There's a lot more to discover. So, to recap what we learned today, angles are formed where two rays meet at a vertex, and they are measured in degrees. We discussed various types of angles, including acute, right, obtuse, straight, and reflex angles. Right angles are crucial for stability in structures, while complementary and supplementary angles help us in solving problems. We also learned about vertical angles that are always equal, as well as adjacent angles that are neighbors to each other. Understanding angles is essential in real-world applications, from architecture to navigation. Keep an eye out for angles in your daily life, they're everywhere. Thank you for joining us on this mathematical journey into the world of angles. We hope you found this lesson educational and entertaining. Make sure to subscribe for more exciting episodes that dive into the wonders of math, and feel free to share this podcast with your friends and family. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember to look for angles in everything around you.